Welcome back to the Mid-Year Mitch YouTube channel. Today's episode, we're talking about a new project we have in the garage and what the plans are for this car. So be sure to stick around. So if you're a fan of the Mid-Year Mitch YouTube channel for more than a couple years, you'll probably recognize this car. It was here once before. Each day, neglected classic cars all over the world rotten to the ground. They're scared, tired, and alone. With just your help, a little bit of elbow grease, and a few $1,000s, we can restore these cars and bring them back to their former glory. But right now it's got a little more going on. I started assembling the frame and assembling some parts on the Birdcage. So this car came here about 2 years ago for some frame rust repair, a little bit of strengthening. I added in a removable transmission crossmember and I fixed some rust in the Birdcage, replaced the rockers and a couple parts in the windshield frame. So this was the first Birdcage I've ever fixed. It wasn't the first Corvette I've worked on, but it was the first Birdcage build I did. I just kind of dove in. My buddy, who's about my age, got this car from his uncle, and they came out of a junkyard before then. So this car has been off the road since I believe the late 70s. So she was in pretty rough shape, and this car was kind of a trial by fire. Whenever it came to me, this pillar was completely loose. It was completely rusted off here. So I took measurements from that side and I did my best to make a jig. And my jig failed me a little bit, which is one reason why I redesigned the jig to build the field find split, as well as that yellow 67 that you guys saw. The main issue was it was telescoping, which I thought it was nice to have the adjustment, but turns out it actually shifted and this pillar ended up moving about, I don't know, 1/8 inch, 1/4 inch forward, which whenever you go to close the door, she would just interfere. So one reason why it's back is to have this fixed. So I re-welded it, still have a little more touch up to do, but now the door opens and closes beautifully. I'm pretty much done assembling the chassis. It was here to have the chassis assembled, which you'll see a video on that. I'm just getting the doors to fit, kind of mocking everything up, and we're gonna glue this thing together. Unlike the past couple cars I've done where the floors have been sectioned, this is the original floor pan. Those are the original doors, the original firewall, and the door jamb fiberglass, the frame, the Birdcage. This was all one car that he ripped apart. The back end was bobbed off of the body when he got it. The front end was all smashed up, so he saw there was rust and that the body was bad, and he just started taking this thing apart. Then he got so far and said, how do I put it together? Help, what do we do here? How do I do this? So then I reached out to him, and that's how we became friends. And if it wasn't for this car, I may not have actually built the Misfit. This made it a lot easier to build the Misfit. So he's actually gonna come out here to help me do some of the skinning on this car, but I gotta get it started first. So the cool thing is we're gonna be able to assemble this pretty much the way they did from the factory in terms of the order. So we have one full floor pan, we'll plop that in, firewall on that door jamb fiberglass, just like you've seen in the past. Get the doors on it, get the rear deck on it, get the deck lid mounted to make sure everything's lining up. Quarter panels, taillight panel. I have a used one here that he provided, and we'll go ahead and separate this, install it on this car, and we have a brand new deck from ACI. So we have a brand new deck and a brand new hand-laid front end. He has his original 63 inner fenders over there, and then on this stack over here, we have some 1.5 inch wider quarter panels from Stinger fiberglass, as well as some fiberglass rocker covers, which you've seen me use in the past. And then back there's the hood and the deck lid. So the cool thing is we're gonna skin this thing front to back. Whenever it leaves, it'll have a front end on it, quarter panels, doors will be latching. We'll get the bodywork kind of roughed in, and then he can take her from there. But it's gonna be a really cool project, and I'll take this one a little bit further than I did with the Misfit, the Field Find Split, and the yellow 67. I'll go a little further than that, and then she'll go home again, and then he'll get her dialed in after that. So this should be a pretty cool build. Should be a lot of fun. So the main goal now is, I was working on the 67 Camaro just to kind of catch up. Still have some more work to do on the back window area, but I think I want to start consolidating parts because stuff's everywhere. So I'd like to start to get this body assembled, and in a couple weeks he's going to come. We're going to try to get the firewall back dialed in, and then we'll work on getting the front end installed. So this car, I'm not going to say it's going to go really quick, but it should move at a pretty good pace. But that's going to do it for this video. If you enjoyed, please give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe. I still have some videos coming out on the 67 Camaro, but right now I'm going to turn the attention to this 63, and then eventually we'll get back onto this other split window over here. But I have a lot of work to do, so I'll catch you guys later. before I end off the video, I like to mock things up. So I just threw one of these quarter panel flares on here just to see what it looks like, to kind of envision the car. And it's not exactly where it should be, but it's pretty close. I don't know how well it shows up in the video, but she's got some hips. And it is actually a nice looking quarter panel. Some of the flared quarter panels I'm not the biggest fan of, because in this area they just ramp right out and it just doesn't flow. But this one, it kind of has the natural flow and then it starts to taper up. So actually this one, and I'm not paid to say this is from Stinger Fiberglass, who I buy a lot of parts from, but I actually really like this flare. Should look good, especially with a tire that's a little wider than this little itty bitty donut, but it'll definitely fit some rubber back here. This thing's gonna be cool. I like it. I like it a lot.
I like it a lot.